Hey guys, this week I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about archery and my bow and just the things I've learned as I've been shooting my bow this year. I have myself have watched a lot of YouTube videos and have asked a lot of people who have been doing this for years on some tips that I've received. First of all, this is my bow. This is a 2019 Mathews Traverse. It's a compound bow. And then I have a 10-inch stabilizer on it. It just makes it so I don't shake my bow as much. I use a 4-pin bow sight. So my first pin set at 20 yards, 40 yards, 30 yards, and then 40 yards. This is the quiver. This is where all my arrows go. So for example, I have an arrow right here. Just stick it in there and then you can carry it around. And the cams and all that for the bow. So my bow has a 4-pin sight. It has my first pin is set at 20 yards, then 30 yards, 40 yards, and then 50 yards. And then you just have to look through the peep sight and directly at the pin. So first to shoot, this is called an arrow rest. So you want to get your arrow right. And I'm obviously inside my little apartment, so I won't be shooting it, but I'll show you kind of set it up and all that. You stick your arrow through there, and this is called a knock, an arrow knock. You want to knock the arrow into this right here. You want to hear it click twice. So that was the first click, and the second click right there. You always want the odd color vein, I guess, to be up when you're knocking your arrow. And then what you want to do is this little trigger brings your arrow rest up for you. And then this is called a release. It's got a trigger, so you pull the trigger just like a regular gun trigger. You want to set your your release on this loop right here. And then to stand, you just want to have your feet at a good athletic stand, not like super wide, but obviously not like close together because it's hard to keep your balance. So you want to just have them about shoulder length. It's bad to, if you have to bring your bow up and then really pull it, I mean, it's probably too heavy for you. You really want to just hold this straight, and you can see how I'm just holding the tension when I release to my loop. You just want to pull back, okay? You want to be able to struggle a little bit, but not have to really get your whole body into it to draw, okay? And then your bow arm, you want to have it straight, not completely straight, but just a little bit bent on your elbow, so you can still balance your bow correctly. And then you want to have your shooting arm, so your right arm about as level as possible with your other arm. The bow weighs about 7 pounds, so obviously if you're standing there forever, it'll get tired eventually. Yeah, so I'm just going to show you how I draw my bow and what I do to have an anchor to focus on my target. So this is my release, and it's got a trigger. I'm just gonna always have my trigger finger behind the trigger so that I don't let an arrow fly when I'm not ready for it. So once I hook up to the loop, I stick my finger behind the trigger. Okay, to hold the bow, you don't want to have a strong grip on it. That could affect your shot. You kind of just want to have it leaning between your thumb and your finger. And then this little wrist wrap holds the bow in place for you most of the time. So you just want to kind of have it there. So what I do is I just wrap these 2 fingers, and the rest of them I just kind of wrap them. And then once I draw, I'll adjust it to the grip so that it can help me level my bubble easier. So like I said, you stick it out, and then you just want to pull straight back. Have your elbows as level as you can, and then that second knuckle behind over here, I'm gonna try to stick it behind my ear, and that's my first anchor point when I draw. So I want to draw here, and then I want my string to touch the corner of my lip right here, and then my nose to touch as well. So boom, my nose, my lips are touching. I can see my bubble is perfectly level right there, and then I just find the pin that I'm trying to use through my peephole. And once I'm ready to shoot, I bring my finger to my trigger, and I just boom, pull the trigger. Obviously, I'm not gonna shoot right now. I just wanted to show you guys the anchor points. So I'm always my nose, my lip, and then my knuckle touching behind my ear. That just helps you be more steady. It's kind of like when you're shooting a gun, you want the gun against your shoulder and your cheek on it to look through the scope. With this, it's just, I want to feel the string coming through my nose and touching my lip as well.